Every one of these charges is $250, and there's over 100 of them. In 2024, I was spending $50,000 a month buying seller leads. And every one of those dollars that went out would come back in 5 times over. But these 100 charges, $25,000, they were for leads that we never called, not even one. And when I demanded a refund from the lead company, they told me, it's your own fault. And you know what? They were actually 100% right. This is the story of the most expensive click of my entire life, and how a business having its best year ever paid $25,000 for 100 homeowners who asked us to call them and then never heard from us. And how I'd still be paying for it today if I hadn't finally done one boring thing for 5 minutes. My name is Jason. Some people call me Mr. Bangkok. We buy, wholesale, and hold houses, and I love to show people my mistakes and my wins. I've done over 1,000 deals, and I do it 11 time zones and over 8,000 miles from every single one of them. The title of this video is real. Over 100 leads, $250 each, 0 calls. Nobody hacked me. No employee went rogue. Every single dollar left my account with my permission. Now, you'd assume that a loss like that must take a very bad decision, a bad hire, a bad flip, getting scammed by some guru. Big losses come from big mistakes. That's what everybody believes. But 2024 was the best year my company had ever had. We were doing more deals than ever. The ad spend was literally returning 5 to 1. And that's exactly why this happened. Nobody audits a machine that's printing money. Success doesn't just hide mistakes, it funds them. Back in 2024, I was running my entire operation from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I was drowning in my own success. This story is from the years that the business owned me. So here's what you're getting: the machine, the one click that silently broke it, the 90 days that nobody on earth noticed, a seller named Jessica who laughed in our faces when we finally called. Stay for her, because she's where the real money is. And the 5-minute habit that makes sure that this never happens to you or to me. Let me show you what $50,000 a month actually bought. In 2024, I was living in San Juan, Puerto Rico, running a virtual real estate company that bought houses all over Georgia. We never saw the houses in person. Everything ran on phone, systems, and speed. So leads, they were the fuel. I bought them from pay-per-lead companies and from Google Ads. Homeowners who typed "sell my house fast" filled out our form and asked to be called. Here's the thing about a motivated seller though. When someone finally decides to sell a house that they've been stressing about for months, a divorce, an inheritance, a foreclosure, they don't fill out just one form. They fill out 5. And whoever calls first, that's who wins. So we had one rule at my company, and it was absolutely sacred. I call it the 60-second rule. Every new lead gets a call from a live human being in under 60 seconds. Leads hit the CRM, phone lights up, somebody drops what they're doing and dials. Under a minute every time, or someone's in trouble. And the math worked. For every 20 leads that we bought, we'd close one deal. 20 leads at 250 is about $5,000. One deal usually pays us between $20,000 and $25,000. That's the 5 to 1 machine. But a machine with that many moving parts has a weakness that nobody warns you about. When one wire comes loose in that machine, it doesn't crash, it doesn't throw an error, it just goes quiet. Now, let me tell you what my life looked like that fall. I had a huge ad budget to feed, and I had a huge payroll to meet every single month, no matter what. And right then, several of our best deals, the ones that were supposed to make those big payments, they fell apart. So I was working full time, just putting the pieces back together, pulled in a million directions, solving the big fires, and just rushing through all the small stuff. One of those small things, a lead company that I've been testing, well, they were kind of selling us crappy leads. Dead ends, sellers who never picked up. The leads just weren't great. So I decided to cut them off. You know, it's like a 2-minute job. Cancel them and move on to the next thing. Here's what I actually did. Somewhere in their settings page, me moving too fast, I clicked something that turned off their notifications to us. Not the service, not the charges, but the notifications. You need to understand my plumbing to understand what that did. We have a thing called Zapier, and it's a tool that connects services all over the internet. Think of it as digital plumbing. Their notification feed was the water source. It pushed each new lead into my CRM, and the CRM would blow up my team's phones. 60 seconds later, a human was on the phone with another human. But when I shut off those notifications, the water went dry in the pipe. Nothing hit the CRM. Nothing hit our phone. My team saw leads from that company stop on the exact same day that I told them I was canceling it. So to every person in my company, including me, it looked like the cancellation had worked perfectly. Meanwhile, on their side, the account was still active. The meter was still running. For the next 90 days, that company sold me a lead almost every single day. Real homeowners, real names, real phone numbers, $250 a pop. And not one human on my team knew. In fact, the lead company didn't even know. They didn't know we were missing the leads. They didn't know we had turned off notifications. So here's the horror movie part. Every month, my American Express bill showed up, and every month I did what a lot of business owners do when the money's coming in. I just paid it, the whole thing. Boom. Didn't read it, didn't analyze it, just paid it. But 3 months in a row, I had the same little thought. I was like, this bill, it just seems higher than it should be. And 3 months in a row, a bigger fire, something else got me off track, and I never read the statement. It got shoved to the back burner. Because, you know, reading a statement never feels urgent until it's like $25,000 urgent, right? Then one afternoon, it's about 4:30. The day is basically over. I'm fried, I'm tired, I'm hungry. But I said out loud, I gotta see why this American Express is so expensive. And it took me 5 minutes. I was scrolling through the statement and I saw it. $250, $250, $250, $250, $250, $250, $250. Same company. The company I'd fired 3 months before. I started counting and I stopped being angry and I started feeling sick. Not 10 charges, not 40, but over 100. So I logged into their website for the first time in 3 months, and there they were. All the leads that they had sold me. Names, phone numbers, addresses. Over 100 homeowners who had raised their hand and said, please call me about my house. Sitting in a portal that nobody at my company had opened since the day I clicked that toggle. My first reaction wasn't guilt, it was rage. I was pissed. Somebody did this to me. I want war. Well, war I got. I immediately sat down and fired off a support ticket and demanded that I speak to a human. I wanted a full refund. I felt robbed. These leads had been sold to me silently. No notification, no delivery, no heads up. In my mind, they'd been charging a dead account and they knew it. Their answer came back, and I'll just summarize it for you. You turned off your notifications. You never canceled the service. The leads were delivered to your account every day. We're not giving you a refund. Not a penny. Their position was simple. The leads showed up in my portal every single day. The account I broke was mine. The toggle I clicked, that was on me. The statement I didn't read for 3 months, my problem. And the reason this video isn't called "This Lead Company Robbed Me," the reason I'm not naming them at all is because they were right. It was a $25,000 unforced error, and every finger pointed back at me. But sitting in that portal were still over 100 real sellers, already paid for. And remember, the math, 20 leads equals 1 closing. So somewhere in that list were 5 deals, maybe 100 grand. And I refused to believe that they were gone. The money wasn't lost. It was just late. The next morning, I got the sales team together and we launched an all-out blitz on those 100 leads. Every number, multiple attempts, texts, voicemails, emails, everything. I thought about sending carrier pigeon. Here's what 90 days of silence gets you. Most of the people never answered. You know, a 3-month-old lead doesn't know your number. They have no idea why you're calling and you just seem like a spam call. A bunch of them had already sold their house. A few of them gave us genuinely good conversations, and for about a week, I let myself believe that we might pull a deal out of the wreckage. Contracts signed out of 100 bought and paid for leads, 0. 0 closings, 0 recovery. But one call explained exactly where my 5 deals went. A seller picked up on the second ring, and when we told her why we were calling, she laughed. Her name was Jessica. When my guy explained who we were and why we were calling 3 months late, she didn't yell. She laughed because she actually remembered us. She remembered filling out the form. She had a house that she needed gone desperately. She had asked for our help, and then she did something that most motivated sellers don't do. She waited. She waited like a week on us. And then nothing. Silence. So she called somebody else, and that somebody else did exactly what we preached. They showed up fast, they made an offer, and they bought her house. Jessica did everything right. She was the perfect lead. She was the exact person I spend $50,000 a month just to find. We just never showed up. Now, do the math I had to do that night. 100 leads, our ratio was 20-1. That's 5 deals in that list, 5 Jessicas. At our average spread, that's $50,000 to $100,000 of deals that died in silence. So the 25 grand that was on my statement, that was never the real loss. That was just the part that showed up in writing. There's a saying that I use for everything in this business, and it's that time kills all deals. It's true in acquisitions, it's true in transactions, and it's true in dispositions. The 3 legs of any wholesaling company. Speed isn't a nice-to-have thing in this business. Speed is the business. And I built a 100-lead monument to what happens without speed. I have a name for what did this to me. And once you see it, you'll start looking for it in your business. I call it the silent leak. A failure that costs you money without producing a single symptom. Nothing crashes, no error message, no angry customer, because the customer doesn't know that they're yours. Nobody notices anything. It just drips invisibly behind a business that looks like it's winning. And the better your business is doing, the longer it drips, because winners, we don't audit. So how do you catch a problem that has no symptoms? The best answer that I've got didn't come from business, but it actually came from jumping out of airplanes. Skydiving is actually one of my favorite things on earth. I have hundreds of jumps. And skydivers have a saying that it took me a long time to actually understand. Fast is slow, and slow is fast. In free fall, if you rush, if you make fast, panicky movements, you destabilize yourself, you tumble, and everything takes longer and gets more dangerous. But skydivers who move slow and controlled and deliberate are the ones who actually get where they want to go fast. Fast is slow, slow is fast. I rushed a 2-minute cancellation to save time. It cost me 3 months, $25,000 in cash, and 6 figures in deals. That's fast being slow with a receipt. So here's what actually changed. 3 things, all boring, all worth more than any growth hack that I've ever bought. 1, the 5-minute read. Every statement, every card, every month. I read every single line. No exceptions, no delegating the first pass to someone else. The read that caught this took 5 minutes and found $25,000. That's $5,000 a minute. It's the highest paid 5 minutes in my company. And it'll be yours. 2, the cancellation protocol. I never cancel anything by toggle anymore. A cancellation isn't done when I click a button. It's done when I have written confirmation that the service is dead and the billing is gone. 2 different things. I learned that for $25,000. You just got it for free. Number 3, the CPA tripwire. Every time we cancel or change a lead source or any other service, my CPA gets told. So if a charge comes up from a dead vendor, I've got a second set of eyes that flags it. So even if I'm drowning in crises, that stuff's gonna get stopped. None of what I'm teaching you today is hustle. It's the opposite of hustle. It's a slow, boring drumbeat. And it's exactly the kind of thing busy convinces you to skip. Busy is how I paid $100 grand for a toggle. Look, the business was fine. We still had a great year, which is its own kind of scary because it means a 6-figure mistake can hide inside a good year without even leaving a mark. But no matter how much money you make, losing $25,000 to a dumb, preventable mistake hurts. It's supposed to hurt. That pain is the tuition. So here's your homework tonight. Open your statement, read every line, all of them, even the boring ones, especially the boring ones. And if you find your own silent leak in there, tell me about it in the comments. I want to know how big this club is. And if you enjoyed this content as much as I enjoyed making it, like this video and comment below about what you liked and what you want to see me talk about next. I really love hearing from you. And please share this video with every person that you know. Move slow on purpose. Fast is slow. Slow is fast. Thank you. See you next time.